Small.
Yeah, did he ever come get all them? He never did the ladder and everything sitting there yet?
Throw in the plastic.
I left my whole briefcase of stuff at work.
I guess we should have just loaded them all up in the bucket and put them in the back of the truck and took them up here and dumped them all in.
I think they were wing it.
Yep, there they
I
are.
have all my notes for tonight.
Gotcha.
He's not worried about it. He must have a lot of sheets of that.
You must, because I have a dozen in my house.
Yeah. And there's what? There's
Okay,
at least-
everything's on.
You ready, bud?
Yes,
All right.
everything's on.
Good evening. Let's go ahead and call the meeting to order at 7:35 on April 11th. We stand for a pledge of the flag and short devotion. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Heavenly Father, we thank you that we can gather in this place, Lord, and we just ask that, that we can make decisions that better the community in which we live. It's in your name. Amen. Thank you for footers. For potholes. No, thank you for potholes. All right. Approval of the meeting agenda. Do we have any additions or subtractions?
I do have additions.
Okay.
Under new business, we're going to talk about the Motorcycle Awareness Month.
Okay.
What was that, trustee?
Motorcycle Awareness
Motorcycle
Month.
awareness.
We did this last year too. I'll be asking for a resolution to support that. And then under road report, I do want to talk about Westfall and
Okay.
then the trees that were cut down.
Westfall trees. Got it.
Those are two different things.
Two different things. Okay.
I got three things under the road report.
Okay. I'll just put Mr. Piro.
Piro,
He's got a couple things on the road. Fiscal officer, do you have anything?
okay. No.
Okay. I have an addition to fire, and I'll tackle that when we get there. Okay, moving right along. Approval of the minutes from 3:28.
Trustee Pure moves we accept the minutes presented.
Trustee Griffith seconds.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Approval of treasurer's report for 4/11.
Trustee Griffith motions to approve the treasurer's report as presented.
Trustee Pure second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. There we are. Thank you. All right, seeing no public speaks, let's move on to the fire reports.
All right, actually, the first thing I'm here is related to the conversation about today, but, so we have, the possibility of sending, one or two people to an EVOC course that Quad Ambulance is hosting. The cost for the actual class would be free to us. VFIS is putting it on. I have one person I for sure want to send and possibly two. It's a 16-hour class, so it's 2 8-hour days, and I was asking if we can pay them, like, their wage to go. So like coming out of the training budget, however, we need to do that. One absolutely needs to go. I think it would behoove us to send one of our new.
What are they gonna learn there?
So it's just operating our vehicles. So the first day is all classroom stuff. So emergency operations, what we can and can't do. And the second day is he would take likely one of our ambulances down and drive it. So time on the road, maneuverability, some things like that. And for sure, one of our new hires absolutely needs it.
So if both people decided to go, we would have 16 hours per person.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. At their regular rate.
Yes.
For 2 days.
So 8 hours a day for 2 days. One for sure I want to send. The second one is a possibility.
But the training is free.
Mm-hmm. The training itself is free.
Okay. All right. Trustee Varian moves to approve up to 2 people to be paid their regular hourly rate up to 16 hours per person for training for EVOC classes. Is that through Denzer? Is it?
So no, that's one of the people who.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh,
I have
Denzer's
to-
last
yeah.
name. Gotcha. I
Yeah, he's
apologize.
one of the ones that needs to go.
Gotcha. Okay. It's through
through quad.
through quad.
Yeah.
Trustee Puro, second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
That's through quad, okay. All right,
Okay, so monitors, I know that Assistant Chief Preston had talked about this, so Stryker is who does the PMs now for our heart monitors, and we now own 2 Lucas devices, which were on 2-year since we purchased them. So this would be the first time that PMs for them show up. And I don't know what amount was brought up, so $1,720 would be just the basic PM on 2 heart monitors and 2 Lucas devices.
Say that one more time, chief.
Yep, $1,720. So that's $475 per monitor and $385 per Lucas device. So that is to upgrade the software. That's just to do the basic PM on it. That is what we have done in the past. They also have an option to do a more inclusive and replace batteries and other things. That is about $1,500 per monitor. That is not something we have done in the past. So I'm not 100% sure what all the conversation was before. The additional amount is because we now have 4 devices that essentially need PMs.
okay, so the 1720 update software on all 4 devices.
Update software, the guy comes out, he checks everything to make sure it's working. It's not specifically replacing anything.
Okay, when does this need to be done by?
So April is when the contract is up for one of the monitors, May is when the other contract is up for the other monitor.
So if we didn't pay the 1,700 for all 4, would that be included in what we're talking about at the 1,500 each?
If we did not pay that, yeah, so that would be, the 1,500 includes batteries and some other equipment.
But also the software update and everything else.
It would do that as well, but the 1,500 would be per
Per
monitor.
device,
On top of the 1720.
No, it
No.
would be instead of, yeah,
but it's 1,500 times 2 or times 4.
times 2 plus, I'm
Plus.
not, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even have a quote for the Lucas devices
2 monitors
on
would
what
be-
it would be, yeah, it would
So
be,
you'd be
So-
$3,000 to get the 2 monitors on, and then Lucas would be extra,
Yeah,
yes.
so
Yeah.
that 1,700 included the update on the 2
All 4.
Lucas.
all 4.
So if we take the Lucas out, what was the update for just the 2?
The 2 heart one, just the, it would
475.
be 940.
Yeah.
For just the 2, because it's 475.
475
each
each
for
person,
the
each
2
one.
monitors,
Yeah.
yeah.
So basically, it's a third of the cost.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So we would be paying 2/3 more.
Yes. Mhm. Yeah, and I mean, I had called the sales rep, well, actually the tech rep, to talk to him and understand better, because when he initially sent it for that higher one, and I was like, yeah, that's not what we normally do. And so that's when he sent this one, and he was talking about, there's more included in it, obviously, because you're paying more. We, for the monitors, have always kind of just replaced what we needed to. We're in a unique position where Quad Ambulance upgraded their monitors, and they have some cables and some other things that they are done with, and their chief there has offered them to me at no cost if I need them. So I was like, yes, that would be great, because we just replaced a pulse ox on one of ours, and it was like, half of it was like $300. So stuff is really expensive. Obviously, if we need to replace a battery, they're about $500 a piece. The only thing that would be a plus to the other one would be getting new batteries in that amount.
So what, you said the Lucas machines are how old,
2 years old.
and the heart monitors are how old?
Oh gosh.
They're older than
At
that.
least. Yeah.
So where is the battery life on all 4 of these machines? Like, have we checked where battery life is?
So they're all still charging, like they would
Okay.
just eventually.
Yeah, but I don't think
Got
we've ever changed the batteries
No.
for the heart monitors,
No.
and they're quite a few years old. So I'm thinking it might be worth our while to go with it for the heart monitors.
Okay,
Maybe not the Lucas machines because they're still so new.
So that'd be $3,000.
But
yeah,
950 or 1,000 is going to, you're going to pay it anyway, so you're really only paying 2,000 more.
Yeah.
And if we have to buy a battery,
You might have to find out what that other 1,000 is doing, because you can just buy the batteries for $500.
so it's 3 batteries. 3 batteries per
Wow.
monitor is part of that, which that's a bulk of that
Okay, I
1,500.
thought
quite
they was just
frankly.
2.
Yeah, it's 3 monitors. or I'm sorry, 3 batteries per monitor.
1720 is okay if you want.
So they are 5 years old?
Mhm.
Yeah, they're pretty
Yeah.
old.
They really are pretty old.
Which I'm surprised we haven't changed them
I
yet.
am too.
That's in-
leeway.
It's an EMS.
I mean, and if we do this, we don't have to do it every year, right? We wanna
The
revert back.
whole, no. Right, so you would be paying that 1,500 for a year, and you could in theory go back to paying the
Okay.
475 going
So-
forward if you wanted
Okay.
to do it that
We
way,
have
get
that
all the
much money in that
batteries,
account.
essentially.
All right, so if we do this, we're gonna use up that line item for the year, and we're in April,
And that's for what?
and that's for.
Well, if we did the 3,000,
Soft billing.
two 1,500,
2281 non-resident.
then it would be for the Lucas. How much was that renewal for the
The
2
Lucas
Lucas
is
machines?
$385
Per Lucas.
per, so.
Yeah, so
Per.
700.
Mhm.
So you'd be about 3,700. So you still have some left in there, but not much.
Yeah,
But what are you gonna happen if you have some batteries go out? You have 1,500 in batteries.
yeah.
I can go around if I have additional.
How are the batteries monitored? Like, how do we know that they're getting ready to go bad, or we don't?
Oh, we don't.
Are they working properly?
I mean, if they're working, why are we throwing money at it? That's what I'm saying.
They currently are, yeah.
Or do
They are
one?
working, but they're like, reminds me of the
If you have to
batteries we
do
use for
repairs,
like the drill guns and
take
things
out
like that. They're good,
Take
and
out
all of a sudden they
39.
just go out.
3,000.
That was my guess.
You're not gonna get a warning on a battery.
Like if you don't
Well,
Just because of their
do
age.
this,
You should.
but if you
How
have a
often do
bad
you use them?
battery, you
You
got-
should.
On the cot, you use them quite a bit, don't you?
The
Heart line.
The heart monitors.
Oh, those monitors should show you battery life.
battery life, I don't know
Right.
how they would.
I mean, then the monitor doesn't show you the battery life. Like, it doesn't tell you how charged it is.
How charged?
It tells
Yeah.
us how charged it is.
So currently, you're getting full charges and they're working.
Mhm.
Okay, that's what I'm asking.
Yes.
Like, so when you start to see a battery fail, it's not going to charge fully, or it's going to start to fade fast and quick. Like that's
Correct.
how that works.
Correct.
Simple technology. They don't work as efficiently. So when they start dropping quick, you're going to notice. You're going to
You're
realize
probably
it's
keeping
battery.
them charged all the time though.
Yes.
You're not letting them go down at all.
No.
And
No,
when
we
you bring them
rotate
back,
them
you plug
out.
them in.
Every couple of days at least.
Well, it's just a gamble for us. Because you're gonna pay 1,000. And you're not getting a checkup on the equipment, which we've never done.
So we still have done the PMs always, like them coming in and checking everything. We've always still done that.
Is there any possibility these things will become no good and like
Is the technology going to
Expire.
be?
anytime soon?
No, not within the year, for sure. I mean, we don't even really have, these monitors are $25,000, $30,000 monitors, so we don't even have a replacement
Okay.
plan for them at this
Right.
point.
And they were so expensive when we bought them, that's why I'm saying.
Correct.
They were very expensive. And if
Right.
we
So
switch
I really bought one
ambulances,
at a time.
Trustees, we have the money to do this either way. The problem you're gonna have, I think we have to do the air tank.
Yeah, that's on my list here.
That's a lot. That's a
Well, let's
big
hear
chunk.
that.
Well,
Just so
so,
you, before you make the decision, kind of see where that dollar amount is.
so we, as far as replacement of equipment, we had an officers meeting and had some conversations. Thankfully, we had spent that money at the end of last year and bought that equipment from Timken Steel, which was a huge saver for us. That equipment all was tested and is still good. So we, as far as this year, are okay, as far as we know, all that stuff passed, but we do need to look at replacing that, and we have some hose that is gonna need to be replaced this year as well. We have some, supply line that failed hose testing, so we have some 5-inch that needs to be replaced. So part of me wants to look at, instead of buying all the air packs at one time, since we've basically bought ourselves some time, potentially buying a couple of them instead of buying 8 or 10 at one time, buying a couple each time, partially for money reasons and partially at the same time because then we're not looking at replacing everything again at the same time. We're just looking at replacing a little bit. So same thing for hose, putting a certain amount that says we can buy this much, this much, this much. So that way we're not looking at it and being like, oh my gosh, this is thousands and thousands of dollars. I know we do that with gear now currently where it's every year we buy a so many sets. I know it was a little bit different with some new personnel, but I don't know if it's quarterly or how we look at that. But as far as the air packs go, we're okay for right now, but it is something we need to look at.
Didn't we say the air packs was gonna run us like 30,000?
That was buying all new stuff, and so we managed to avert that, buying that equipment from Timken. But we
Right.
do also need to look at replacing our Cascade system, which is what we fill our bottles with. That was something we had bought from Louisville Fire quite a few years ago.
And it was used when.
It was used when
Very
we bought
used when we
it.
bought
We
it.
bought it cheap, and when they tested it this last time, they tested it fine, and the guy said, it's on its last legs, just so you know.
How much is that?
I think we said, I don't remember.
I don't remember.
off
There's
the
a
top of my
compressor
head.
and a system. There are
There's a
two parts
compressor
to
and
it.
system. Mhm.
Yeah,
So it
there's a
sounds
bottle
like-
filler and then there's a compressor.
Yeah.
Sounds like we need to open up a fund specifically for the air
Cascade.
packs in the Cascade and start each year putting some money into it that we can start replacing some of those. Because I really don't want to do a 40,000 all at once.
Amy, I thought you all had an evaluation if you did some of them this year, because I planned on you
Yep.
doing some in 2022. But I didn't know how much, I
How much?
figured 10 to 15 grand this year and another 10 or 15 next
For
year.
next year.
And I've got that to be
Okay.
able to do that, but
Okay.
that's just something to be thinking about, trustees,
Yeah.
because when we start doing all that, until you get your maintenance agreement, striker, if you have any
Right.
other things, I'm burning up all the maintenance
The
stuff.
maintenance stuff.
Uh,
Did you have any hose price?
I do. I do, but I don't have it with me.
That's fine.
For what we need for the
5
5
inch.
inch, the supply line, yeah, maybe we'll have a number of that. We need to replace a pretty decent amount of that. But everything else, we're okay for the rest of this year, hose wise.
Okay.
So we do have money set aside for some air pack replacement this year.
I had that in with the maintenance area and
Okay.
on the fire side.
Okay,
So whether it's the machine that refills your bottles or the actual air packs.
Yeah.
So price them all out, but
okay,
so since we have that set aside, it shouldn't affect what we have left for the other stuff.
Is the Cascade system something, I mean, I know this, I don't want to be cheap, but we're trying to make it all work here. Is it something else we could buy it used, like we bought it from Louisville used? Can we find a system
well, if
used?
we can find it,
Okay,
I mean, it would be a matter of finding something
Yeah.
like that.
right, okay. We don't know what the Cascade system brand new would be. Because
I
the
don't
packs were 30, okay.
I don't.
all right, That's fine. Okay, so let's bump back up to the monitors and the Lucas machines. What do we want to do? Do we want to go ahead and get the batteries replaced at 3,000?
Well, what's the furnace on here? Is there a problem with it?
Yeah, we had another igniter replaced. The second furnace needed another igniter. I think that's what they did.
So that's all.
That's been done. That's gonna be
Okay.
a then and now because it's done.
Okay. So it's not a major thing.
Hope not. What do you guys want to do with them?
I don't
The
know. My only
monitors.
concern, if we have a problem with the monitor, we're gonna end up with thousands into it. And if they come out, we pay them 1,000 to come out and do the check on it, and then they tell us such and such is bad, we're gonna put more into it. And when we do this whatever's wrong, do they fix it or do we have to pay more? So if we paid 1,500,
Sure. If they find anything minor, I mean, they would fix stuff, but I don't know about if there's anything major going on with them. We're not currently having any issues with either one of them. I mean, other than the pulse ox that we replaced, but that's external anyway. As far as I know, we're not having any issues with them.
Why don't we do one battery and then one battery a year? Then they're not all the same age.
yeah, I mean, it'd be good not to have them all the same.
I mean, it's gonna be pretty odd if they all three would die at once, but, at least if you had one with one battery, it would give you a couple of days to get one fixed.
All right, what do we want to do?
I make,
Is one of them older than the other one?
Yeah.
I say that we put the 1,500 on the older one. leave the other one at the normal rate. And let's see what it gives us for our money.
Say, what are you doing so I understand? You're not gonna do a 1720, you're gonna do,
No, it would be 1,500 for the older monitor,
because I'm looking at the
and it'll
chart.
be 1,500 for the old monitor. It'll be plus 475 for a service on the new monitor. It'll be plus 385 for one Lucas, plus 385 for second Lucas. It'll be 2745.
What do you think about that?
I
Brandon?
thought there was 3 monitors.
It's 2 monitors and 2 Lucas.
Okay.
We'd say 3 bad.
Yeah, I'm good with that. That's good.
And we'll see what kind of service it does on the older model.
Who's making the move and
I made the
second on
motion.
that? Okay.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
All right.
Aye. All right, so 2745 is going to get service on all 4 items. The oldest heart monitor, it's going to get batteries.
Well, it's gonna get the service, the $1,500 service.
All of them are getting service, but it's getting the extra service.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, moving.
Will you be taking care of that, Amy, with
Yep.
them?
I've got a whole time this week.
So let's bump to the furnace. What do we know on that?
It's fixed with the igniter.
Okay. Do we have a bill?
I have not
I
seen
have
one.
not received any.
All right, that's Zorn.
Mhm.
All right, we'll wait to see a bill on that and handle that next meeting. Code for Dan.
We needed to order a coat from US Safety Gear, the yellow coats like we wear out. We did not have one that was Dan's size.
You're
Okay, Trustee Barry moved to purchase a coat for Dan for $125 for U.S. safety gear.
Trustee Griffith, seconds.
All those in favor?
All right.
Aye. All right, do we need to spend any more time on plan for replacement equipment, or should we bump from that?
We can bump from that.
All
I
right.
can get some more numbers and
Okay, we'll get some more numbers on 5-inch hose. We'll get some more numbers on the packs that we may want to spend the money on this year compared to next, and we'll also look at new cascade system, used cascade system, and what we're gonna have in that. Okay, before we move down to the calls, I want to add, I'd like to go ahead and get Dan, our captain, up to the captain rate. We were kind of dragging our feet on that a little bit to kind of see where all the coins fell. I spoke to Fiscal Officer Larry about that. He's busy fixing stuff in the fire station. I think we need to get him up to that rate so it matches our handbook and it's the correct thing. So he'd be his stipend is already there. It would just be a change from his current hourly rate to a captain hourly rate. Correct?
Mhm.
Okay.
Is that a motion?
Do we need any conversation on it? Okay with
I'm
that?
good with that.
No, I'm good with it.
Trustee Varian makes a motion to change change Dan Adams' rate to $17.25 per hour.
Trustee Griffith, seconds.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, thank you.
when does that start?
That'll go into effect on the,
This coming.
well, you're right, you just got paid Friday, so you can make it proactive back to.
Okay, so the beginning of this current,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
So it'd be in the now pay.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Is there anything else, Amy, before we do calls?
No, did you get that did you get this?
Oh, yes, thank you. Gosh, spent time on that today, I almost forgot. So just a quick update on the ambulance options. So we talked last meeting about possibly purchasing local and purchasing through, state bid, government bid type of thing. Amy got a hold of the gentleman that builds the ambulance. She has a spec sheet in front of her. I took the spec sheet and I sent it to a salesman at Charchone's in Alliance. I drove on State Street the other day. I was driving down through there, and there's probably 30 F450 four-wheel drive cabin chassis just sitting in a row. Now, I don't know if they're the right specs or not, but I called the guy and said, "Hey, what are they all sold?" He said, "No, they're available." Through the conversation with that gentleman, he said, "You're gonna have better luck finding one on the ground." He said, "I'm a dealer and I can't even order a 23, and they haven't even talked to me about when I can order a 23." So he said, "If you gave me money right now, I couldn't put an order in." So we may have trouble ordering it, but now that we have the spec sheet, he has that now. And so what I'd like to do, the company that builds the ambulance said that they don't care who buys the chassis. We can buy the chassis. It doesn't matter to them. So I think my opinion is that, and I talked to Fiscal Officer Lowry about this, we can't just do one bid. We're going to have to get quotes. If we're getting a state bid, we're probably going to get the same thing or close to it, but we need to get it from 2 places. But I think we should go ahead and use the specs off that sheet, buy a chassis now, whether it's a 22 or 23, go ahead and spend the money, get the chassis, because they're willing to put a box on it for us. And then if we have to wait, we may get lucky enough to get a rebox comes in. We might save 80, 100 grand. Or we might not get lucky enough for a rebox and we have to put a new ambulance box on it. But either way, the company's willing to do that. So I think it makes sense to buy local, go to Alliance over there where there's a Ford dealer, purchase it from that person at spec, because they're going to want to know exactly, they're going to want an exact chassis, so they're not changing it and investing it. Get the truck in our hands and in our name, and then take it to them and let them put a box on it. That'll give us a little more time to possibly look at some other options. Mr. Piero gave me the name of the gentleman I called. He didn't call me back yet, but they just purchased a Reebox ambulance and had a pretty good deal on it. So I was going to talk to him as well, just to make sure that we're checking into all of our avenues. Does that all make sense? Are you guys okay with looking into purchasing a chassis outside of the ambulance company?
Yeah, as
Okay.
long as we're getting the state bid on it.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Trustees, I did share this information with Trustee Varian. I got the information from Gregory Beck, the firm. Anything you're gonna do between $10,000 up to $250,000 on these trucks, road truck or ambulance, you need two prices, two quotes, okay? That's all I need. If you go over 250, then we have to do a sealed bid. So keep that in mind when you're working on these. I also looked up the numbers, which I apologize, I must have left that at work on my notes on that. Right now, at the end of this month, I have to give the first report to American Rescue Act Fund. Right now, we've used $5,213 of the American Rescue. With the money we have, we will have $415,000 and some change left. If we go with two vehicles along with, if we stretch out the premium pay, like a year or 2 years, and at the rate we're going right now, we're spending about $3,100 per quarter. So you could be spending 11, 12,000, maybe up to 14,000 a year.
Yeah.
But I wanted to try to lock that in under resolution. I got to do a resolution on that whenever you get these. And I was telling Trustee Varian, because you might end up buying the chassis at one location, getting it built at another location, or if they're both the same, or let's say you need mobile radios or you need decal or something additional. I would like to open blanket certificates with a total amount so I can turn that in on American Rescue on the grant side. Then if you make some adjustments as you go, then I can use capital fund money with it to keep it under the $250,000 threshold, which I think we are.
Yeah.
But I want to use as much of the American Rescue money, and then any balances I leave left could stay in the capital fund for another future piece of equipment. So just keep that in mind when you're, working this. But the only way I can figure, if you're going to buy a chassis now and possibly the box part next year, maybe, or if you can get it later year, I have to do those blanket certificates.
So
but I need
spend it.
approval.
Okay.
I can only do them up to $20,000. I will need like a board approval, and that's what
Okay.
the attorney said. Greg Beck
Okay.
suggested getting resolutions on each phase of what you trustees want. Ambulance, XYZ, a dollar amount with two bids. Road truck, two bids, XYZ, the dollar amount. Okay?
Okay.
That helps me for auditing purposes.
All right. Just as a point of reference, I think it's important to note, if we're spending $3,000 a quarter for premium pay, I feel like that was a really smart move. I think with that premium pay, that's been some incentive for Amy to be able to use. I think our schedule looks a lot better.
It's fantastic.
Our schedule's way better. Our mutual aid is way down. People helping us. And for $3,000 a quarter, I feel like that was really good money spent, in my opinion.
How did that work out because we also increased it to 24-hour service. So how are we hitting the budget
You
with that?
hit that about that cost so far with what we did in 2021 towards the end, the best number, you're about $6,000 higher at a rate for the year of 2022.
For the quarter?
Oh,
For-
for
for
the
the
year, for the estimated year, just
Okay.
on the 24 hours.
Just on the 20.
Yeah.
If you figure in the increase, remember we adjusted everybody's hourly rate, now you're up about $12,000.
Okay.
So what that did is I took the fire fund, which usually paid almost 80% of the firefighter's wage. I increased the percentage I pulled out of the soft billing, the 2282 fund, from 60% to 70%. And it balanced out, but that don't leave a lot of money left in those other two funds.
Yeah.
Okay?
But we've put some money toward it, but I feel like we've seen a return.
We definitely, your schedules, and I know Amy can vouch, and Cliff, you watch it, but trustees, when you look at those payroll sheets, look at the total hours, you're covering almost 700 hours
Yeah.
per every 14 days, which that tells me you got people there all the
Four
time.
months ago, that was not
Right.
the case.
Yeah.
I guess I was wondering, because we know it increased our budget for there. Are we holding our regular revenue? Do we have enough to cover that when we no longer have American Rescue
You will
money?
not have enough to cover that when American Rescue
With
is
the
done.
24 hours?
No, you'll be able
No,
to do
yeah,
the
that's
24
what I
hours.
wanna know.
Yeah, you'll
Yeah,
be able
we'll
to
do
do 24 hours.
Yeah.
It's just what I worry about is that $10 an hour premium pay that we do. What are we going to do there? If it's $10, $12, $13,000 a year is what that premium pay. What worries me is 2 years in 2024. That's when that will go away, or we'll use that money up. What are we going to do then?
Yeah, you gotta
To
get
get
creative.
incentive, whether you do an hourly rate
Right.
adjustment,
Right.
or you still have a premium pay, but you reduce it down what we can afford on our budgets now, or you go
Yeah.
do some levies. or
We gotta
something like
decide.
that. Okay.
We got a little time to decide. All right.
I had one more thing for Amy. If you can put it on your calendar, our community festival this year is the 10th and 11th,
Yeah.
Friday and Saturday. Yeah, Friday and Saturday.
Of what month?
June 10th and
June
11th.
10th and 11th. Great. All right, what are the calls?
20 calls, it was a shorter time period this time. One assist from Canton Township on an accident with multiple patients, one assist from Louisville, and one assist to Louisville. So,
Okay.
like we said, that list is way shorter.
Yes, great. All right, anything else for fire? We're gonna move on. Great, thank you. How about cemetery?
Okay, since last week, we had an open closing at Mapleton, and I have $800 to turn in for that. I want to thank the road guys for assisting with that last week, appreciated. And I also sold 4 lots at
Oh, wow.
$550 apiece, so there's $2,200 for that. Total $3,000 to turn in, and a whole bunch of deeds that you get to sign.
Okay. Been busy.
Yes.
Sexton, sure, the deed you're having, was that with the Seacrest family?
Yes,
Okay.
2 of the lots are the Seacrest family and 2 are not. In the last couple of days, I've got all the spring cleanup done, all the wreaths are thrown away and ready for Mr. Beck to start mowing.
Great.
How did the cemetery up on the hill come out then?
I was up there today and for as terrible as that soil is, the grass looks really good.
Oh, really?
It's green and maybe in a little while fertilize it good and it's,
Is it gonna be smooth enough for the mowing on it?
oh yeah, yeah. One potential project I would like to look into, I think 2 years ago, we got a price to have the big pine tree taken down at Union Cemetery, St. Paul's. I think that's something we need to consider again. And that pine tree's enormous, and it's overhanging a lot of graves there. And I think the longer we let it go, the more expensive it's gonna get to get rid of it. You want me to get prices?
Did you sign that last?
Hey, like,
I'm
well,
getting it cut down again.
see where we're at.
Yeah, you got it.
You got it. Nope, that one. Trying to get witness.
Yeah, here you go. Get a witness. Get a witness.
What was the cost for that pine tree?
He's gotta get a cost.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Got it.
I don't remember what it was then.
We did it, but it, sure, that quote is old.
This year,
Under Brian.
trustees, in the budget, that, for so far, the unencumbered that I have available, let me just double check what I said. We're gonna have about $4,000, and I'm leaving enough for the contracted services to cover open and close-ins. I'm leaving enough to pay Jim Beck for at least 12 mows of all the cemeteries. And we have a new cemetery, and I'll bring that up. I did get that officially transferred between last meeting and this meeting, and it's been recorded. The Coots Memorial is in our name.
Okay.
It's officially in our name. Now, we won't be paying the tax for this year until next year, naturally. But I know that Brian will be evaluating some things up there.
I need to correct my statement. I did not clean up that one. I forgot.
Where is that one located, Brian?
It's in, right in the village. It's right.
It's
on the
right,
railroad tracks.
if you go
Okay.
down the tracks from where St. Paul's
Yeah,
is.
you can almost see it.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
almost see it.
Yeah.
Follow the
You
tracks.
follow the track. St. Paul's, Coons, and Mount Tabor all on that track.
Yeah.
If you're gonna fall off the train, it's a good place to fall off the train. Fall right in the grave.
But what has to be done is, with the help of Sexton Shear, road superintendent, preparing some quotes, we need to watch how we delegate that money. It's not like we got an extra 10, 15,000. We might have 3,000 or 4,000 each year to try to put towards these cemeteries, and which one we've put off, maybe that's what we need to do, such as where Ryan's suggesting that tree, but we'll need to be doing something in that Kuntz cemetery, because when I looked at it, it's a lot of work
There's
down there.
Clean up.
But it could be done in steps and stages.
Okay.
I will want to take one thing else, and not to take anything away from you, Ryan, that when Ryan was off, I got involved with helping out the cemetery, but one of the things that happened at another cemetery that's in our township, but we do not take care of it, was an issue where the open and closing, the closing part, the person that did it wasn't there present, and they ran into some problems. Our guy, Sonny, sometimes is not there because he's driving school bus, different things like that. And I took it upon myself to ask the road superintendent if they could just be available along with Ryan at the Vincent open and closing, because our guy was tied up with 2 other open and closings that day. And I did not want to leave a grave open or have a problem once that, the person got ready to lay to rest there. So I took it upon myself to ask these guys to be there, and keep in mind, no problems happened. These guys did a great job of just closing this up. And even Sonny made the comment when he come over later, he thanked us, and I don't know if he'll take off the bill yet, but he was very appreciative because he was tied up. He had 2 flats on his trailer. He had all kinds of things happen that day.
Where was that burial at? Which cemetery?
Vincent Cemetery, or Vincent's burial. So something in the future, I'm going to suggest, whether Sonny's with us next year or retires, that these open and closings, we do have in our minutes that they need to be open 2 hours prior to a service. We need to have it that they got to be there or in that area when they're there to bury, because in case something happens, a cave in, something happens, we need people there. So just to bring that up for in the future.
Okay. Anything else for cemetery?
I don't think so.
We're just gonna get a pine tree quote. Falling of the pine tree. Got it.
Sounds like a song.
Yeah, it does. All right, let's move to the road report. Thank you, Ryan.
All righty. The trustees have looked over the road report. Is there any questions?
They got those springs on 202.
Yes,
Great. That worked out well.
yes.
Bounces down the road. New
Oh,
springs.
yes. Handles
Okay.
much nicer.
Hey, how did the price on the 9s from Goat Hill compare to what was around here?
They're probably around the same. I mean, actually, it's probably less. The 9s that you usually get up there from National Aggregates, it's expensive
If they have them.
if they have them. That's why I kind of swung to using these 9s. I've talked to different people. They say the 9s from National Aggregates is supposed to be double washed. It's not double washed. And the 9s that we get from East Fairfield Coal Company over there by the Ohio, Pennsylvania line, they're double screened. They really come in fairly clean, a lot cleaner than the 9 limestone, white limestone. And they've been working good in the machine. I just got the second load today from them. And I got 2 loads of salt last Thursday or Friday from that 100 tons I ordered there about a week ago.
So
They'll
we've
bring
met
the other
our,
2 loads here probably this coming week or next.
we've met our quota.
I think,
I thought we only needed 20 more tons than needed.
You did it.
Okay.
yeah.
Because
Our minimum
the
quota.
paper that Stark County engineers gave us at our meeting,
At our
we
meeting,
ran,
set it on.
said we needed 20 more ton, but that didn't reflect the 53 ton that Stu just had received.
Yeah, and we got another close to 50 coming, so we met it for this year.
On Friday, we've got Generac is not running tests.
Um,
On
That's when I asked the
Friday.
guys, this is, I've got a yearly checkup since we got the
Yeah,
Generac.
backup
And then
generator.
that's when Brian and Stu had noticed that it didn't run its test. It runs a test.
It's
every
not running its
Friday.
cycle.
Yeah. didn't
Yeah, it
run
runs
that
every
test.
Friday, 7:30.
I put the call into Generac. They're coming
Okay.
Tuesday.
So it doesn't come on at all.
Well, with
Or does
the,
it?
They
what
tell you.
what the lady said at Generac, because that's exactly a year old on last week, whenever it was supposed to
Yeah.
run, there's in the memory on the chip on that, it says, verify the battery, check batteries. That's what this message means, if that's what it is, I'm not sure. Or it could be the last time we had a low
Yeah.
natural gas error message, but the guys are coming. I put
Okay.
the call in and
They'll
they're
get her
coming.
fixed up.
I see that you're going with a positive outlook by removing all the snowplows.
I still have the salt spreader stuff on my truck yet, but I think it's coming off here.
Positive thinking does a lot.
It does.
Yeah. We've already repainted the plows and fixed wheels and put the 2 larger ones. Oh, we'll put all 3 of them actually outside, so. They're already ready to go for next winter.
So a couple questions I had was, if you get a chance, next time you're up, going up Westfall there, where we have a problem of someone coming up out of that driveway down in the hollow and dragging onto the road there with stuff. It looks like we're missing part of the road there.
Oh,
You know where I'm talking about.
yes.
Check that out.
Last year, I actually tried to put a layer across that because they were eating into the berm of the road there so hard coming up out if they turned to go west. Because the driveway, you're almost making a
I think they're
160
dragging.
degree turn there. It's really sharp.
I think they're just dragging trailers.
They are.
But I think you're missing part of the road
Yeah.
seems to be gone now. There's like, so you need to look at it.
I'll look
And
into
then,
it.
I noticed I came up over Hill Church from 44, and it looked like they picked up all those trees,
Yes, they did.
Larry's, and I didn't see any problem with the roads. I
No.
got it.
They didn't
looked
tear
good.
anything up. They did a good job.
Good. Kind of waiting for that to happen, weren't we?
We were.
Yeah. Well, we were out there the day they were loaded.
Oh, great.
Oh, were
And
you?
they were doing
Okay.
a fine job and
Yeah, I didn't
they
see
had their
anything
down
wrong
riggers
with it.
down and stuff, but they sat right clear out in the road. I mean, they couldn't get
Loaded
off the
it
road
all
there. They'd sank
Okay.
away.
Yeah, it looked like they did a good job.
I think they hauled everything at Gary on Gary McKinney's son's property there on Westfall too.
I thought I
They
still
had it all
seen-
lined up unless they didn't haul that
I
out
don't
yet.
think they hauled
They
it
didn't
out
haul
yet.
it out yet there at the oil well drive?
No,
Okay. They
that's
can
why
pull,
I'm
they can pull
surprised.
clear in there to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those trees are hollow anyway. They won't weigh as
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, there's quite a few of them like that.
But they, whatever they did a good job on Hill
Yeah,
Church. They didn't
they-
hurt our road.
Nope, they didn't hurt anything.
Mr. Piero, you got a couple things for road.
Yeah.
Okay.
First one is I met, I don't remember, the guy out on Mitty at the culvert, and we're good to go. We can ditch out into his thing a little bit.
What do you mean ditch out into his?
You're allowed, you can't restrict water from a road, so you can ditch out to where it'll drain, to where the water will drain. That's from the state of Ohio.
Okay,
So we gotta dig out probably 150 feet.
we're not gonna dig on his property.
Yeah, we are. You have to.
Insurance is not gonna cover us to do that.
I've already talked to the county. They sent me the work agreement. It's done all the
What's the
time.
county say?
It's done all the time.
What's Otarma say? I don't care if other people
What
do
do
it.
you wanna
Fine, is our
do?
insurance gonna cover it?
And cover what?
If anything happens? Or do we have coverage to be off in someone's private property? And we get these requests all the time.
It's not a request. The water doesn't drain. It's sealed shut.
Right, but we get it throughout our township, lots of places. When do we start picking and choosing who we're gonna help?
We're not
That's my
helping,
question.
we're not helping anybody. We're helping our road. It won't drain. There's nowhere for it to go.
It's not up on the road, is it?
The culvert is underwater.
Yes, I understand that.
It runs over the road.
Aren't
when
we
it
putting a
rains
new
hard.
culvert in there?
That's what I want to do.
And is that culvert going to still be underwater once you guys do what you want to do there?
If we don't dig,
Yeah, there's.
if we don't dig away and get the water to go away, we'll have to use dredge pumps or something, and it'll be back underwater again as soon as we get it done.
So did we go to Otarma to see if we're covered for this activity? If you have the paperwork from the county?
If all the paperwork is completed correctly, such as, you remember, I'll use Dave Schaefer's property that the township asked them about going on the property. An agreement was okayed under resolution to maintain and clean out that area
Yes.
down. You have to do all that. You can't just do it by just saying, yeah, we can go do it. You need to have something in writing. You have to have, are we going to pay someone to do that? So that has to be approved, or can we do it with our own equipment? I would like to know that as a fiscal side of it, because if you start this, you're going to open up a can of worms. Yes, it needed cleaned out. It needed cleaned out 10, 20 years ago, but you start cleaning this out a little bit just so we can get the culvert in, you're going to create some problems in some other areas that I've heard, not just you trustees, but the previous trustees run into problems. We aren't taking our equipment down in because once you start, you're going to have it wide open. Well, you did it for them. Why aren't you doing it for
It has to
me?
be a situation where the road won't drain.
Well, there's situations like that all over the township. The Hill allotment is one of them. You got all kinds of problems. It's very similar to that.
Where on Bahal allotment does it hold water up to?
It holds water up and floods in people's basements.
Yeah, but that's not the same situation as this.
It's restricting water.
Yeah, but the road is draining there. It is,
It's draining into their basements is what they claim.
I was there. I looked at that site.
Yeah.
That is not water plugged up at the road. This is, the water is plugged up at the road.
Then you need to go through the proper steps of designating
And that's
that
what
as
we've
a
been working on.
waterway, all the way from point A to point B. And there's a proper way of doing that. Then you can have it cleaned out and maintained from now until whenever, whoever owns the property, whatever. There's a proper way of doing that. That way you have yourself covered, the township's covered, that it's always going to be taken care of, because it sounds like there's water running in there no matter what the weather is or whatever the lay of the land is. There's always going to be water there.
So I guess if we're going to do all that and clean that out down to that creek and connect it, then
No, we're not going that far.
No.
No,
That's 800 and something.
800.
we're not going that far. We're going just far enough to make it drain.
So what happens if whatever property owner owns it comes in and decides to put a barricade across there because they don't want the water running on them, divert it another way.
They can't.
They're not allowed
They
to.
can't do that.
Why can't they?
You
get city
cannot,
property?
you cannot restrict water to a roadway in the state of Ohio.
They
It's
can
not-
divert it.
It's,
Divert it where? It's
I
the
don't know.
lowest point in the.
it's
in the-
not designated yet. Once it's designated, you're right. But that isn't designated.
Yeah,
at
there's
800
some,
feet.
there's some ditches in Stark County that are dedicated ditches
Yes.
by the county. And those are the kind that you can go on their properties to clean them out. Stark County, when we called up there and talked to them, me and Fiscal Officer Lowry, he told us, and he even checked while we were out on the phone there real quick and said, no, this is not a dedicated ditch that went down through this property. It's on their records.
Now, you can get it done.
You can probably get it done, but it's not.
Well, I
it's
talked to
not-
Jason at the county. He did not say anything about designating it. He said they do it all the time. They have a work agreement. They go out and if they're doing a bridge or whatever, they make it so it'll drain. This thing isn't gonna be a yearly clean out. It might be 20 years before you have to do anything. Who knows when the last time it was done?
Probably never.
Well, it wasn't sometimes. Hasn't ran for a while.
So right now that culvert's completely full.
Clear up over the top of it, back under
So
the
how's the
road,
water
on the
getting
other
from-
side of the road.
How's the water getting from the one side of the road to the other side of the road?
It
Is there-
seeps away slowly.
It seeps away very
It's going
slowly.
around the pipe.
If it rains hard enough, it runs over the road.
Okay, so it goes over the road on a hard rain and it's seeping probably between the pipe and the earth because it's so full.
Right.
On a non-
And
on a
it's-
non-rain
It's
day.
eating
Okay.
back on the bank.
So it's
It's
getting to the other side of the road, but it's slow.
It's silted on the east side of the road where it's supposed to be draining away. It's silted up so high. It's
Okay,
as high as the top of the pipe.
so let's say we get permission, we get insurance, we do everything the right way. We're talking about digging out both sides of the road.
So we would want to get
Enough
that
that we can
property
get
owner to
water
sign
flowing
papers saying
through our new
that
culvert.
somebody can go on there, whether it's us
And
or
he's
somebody
already
else.
agreed, he's already agreed to that. He told me.
Well, I'm just saying, we probably ought to have papers,
You
on
gotta
it,
have something right.
just like we did for
I
What do we
got
do?
the agreement from the county. He said
They
it.
probably need an easement or something to do it since it's not a dedicated water.
We do not need an easement. I have a work agreement that the county uses when you do this
It
situation.
has to be under resolution by 3 trustees.
I don't have it ready. I just got it on
Make sure you
Friday.
get that, then you can go through those steps.
And so let me go back to Stewie. So do you have the equipment to go down there and dig?
Andy Parker's already gonna be there to do the
Yeah, he
call.
was gonna use his bigger track
So
over
we were
there.
gonna hire Andy Parker to do it.
Yeah, he was gonna be right there to do that job.
I think we approved that last meeting. Did we?
Yeah, we,
Did we approve Andy last meeting? No.
No.
We talked about it.
We
but
talked
didn't.
about it.
Okay, we talked about it. Yeah, that's right.
he gave us quotes.
He gave us a quote, yeah.
I'm
On
doing
two
just the
separate-
culverts.
Of
On
just,
two
yeah,
separate
just the
goals.
road work. Yeah,
Yeah.
So
okay.
if you get the approval on the insurance, you get all the language done right, and you get everything in place, the language for this is that we're only doing this because our culvert's being affected. We're not doing this to benefit a landowner. We're doing it
Right.
to benefit our road and our culvert to make it work. Because there's too many places throughout our township where it's similar, not
Similar,
exactly
but
the
this is a
same.
pretty bad one right here. I mean,
Yeah, the road's collapsing. Yeah.
it keeps collapsing on both sides.
So it just needs to
and
be clearly stated why we're doing this.
Yeah.
If once you get all the,
Okay. Well, we've got Andy's price, we've got culvert. You've got a plan on the culvert side. If Randy can get us paperwork on the private landowner side, then we'll put it together.
what was Andy's price?
Oh, I forget.
High side, 1,600 for each culvert.
How
Low
many
side,
culverts are
4.
there?
Huh?
How many culverts are there?
2 roads, Mitty and Slater.
Different road.
Two
30
different
feet on
places.
both spots.
Yeah.
Two different roads.
Did Andy give us a price on doing what trustee Puro wants in addition yet?
We need to
I
add
can
that.
call him and ask him.
We need to add that to know what it is.
Because that, we need
Okay.
to know
I will
that.
call him tomorrow and ask him that.
Everything we do.
He has been there and looked at it, but we ought to walk it off or wheel it off to
Right.
make sure exactly how many
Okay.
feet
Yeah.
for them standing.
I just know a
Cattails.
lot of people in the townships are gonna be calling and asking you for something similar, so.
Well, just have him call me. We'll meet
The,
him.
what
I know
is
where to
the-
go with it.
When when we talk about, just since we're on the subject, and so I can maybe be educated, when we're talking about a waterway, so if this landowner, because this landowner has a marsh of a piece of property, that's what it is, it's full of water. So if this landowner decides that he wants to push to have a ditch dug down through the middle of his property to make it usable space, to maybe build a house on or something, and if he can get it approved as a waterway, how does that help him as a landowner, as a resident of Osnaburg
What do you
Township?
mean a waterway through who?
Like if
You
he
mean
said,
like
like
a county ditch or?
no, like if he could just dig a ditch in the middle of his property to get to the other end, so it's not on marsh, like can you create it?
So you mean, so it'll drain really good?
Right,
There's nothing stopping him from doing that now.
right. Can you, if we created a waterway, how does that change it?
It does not.
It doesn't. Okay.
He would have to dig
He
up
still has
to
to dig
where,
it.
to where it's entering now.
So if he dug it and then tried to apply for a waterway and they approved it, we would maintain it after it's dug?
There's
No.
there's nobody to apply to. He could go
Gotcha.
and dig whatever he wants in there.
He ain't gonna do that.
Okay. I was just
No,
curious.
He's not gonna do
Because
anything.
right now it's marsh. You know, so until
You
the
don't
water
wanna-
is
you don't wanna
diverted,
spend a dime.
until the water is diverted, it's going to be just all wet.
So I don't know who it is and I don't want to know. I do think it was a piece of property. It sounds like it was having a problem and they're looking to get the property improved to make it have more value. That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah.
And want us to do the work.
He told me he has no intentions of selling it anytime soon.
Really?
So he told me.
I don't know. Don't tell me who it is. I don't want to know.
Well, if you look at the plot map, if you look at the map from the aerial, anything we dig out to make our drain go, it's going to put, just as much, if not more water on his property. So like,
It's gotta go.
It's all going
it's
there now.
all going there now. It's just going.
It's all gonna go there. He is the lowest
It's
spot.
not going to change.
on
It is
all
the lowest
three
spot on the
sides.
whole side. Yeah.
He sits in the very saddle of where that land is.
All right, Randy, you have other things too. Go ahead.
Yeah, I've got one full bid in on the trucks and I should have the rest of it by next meeting. I tried to go through Kenworth. I've tried 4 times. I'm not trying anymore.
They don't want to sell you a truck.
I moved on to a different Kenworth.
No.
Trustee Brewer, do you have any idea what it is? Like the one you have, like,
Cost wise?
yeah,
I don't know on the Kenworth, the first one, though, I'll have it all printed out for next meeting. The Kenworth guy couldn't get it to me by the time.
because on April 30th, we only have one more meeting. April 30th, I gotta have a dollar amount with a resolution, at least a preliminary. I can
I'll have all
modify it.
them dollar amounts.
Because I need to have something, because I want to be able to take that 419,000, come to each one and say, okay, we want to go so much with the fire, continue that on the next few years. Here's how much we have left. And then I can write that up on my grant information for the federal grant. Because if we modify, and that's one of the things I asked Greg Beck, if we modify something, say for example, it's lower or it's higher, you can amend it, but I only have until 2023 at the end, and then it has to get locked in. I can't change it after that. So the closest you can get it now,
I'll have exact numbers.
yeah,
next
the
time.
closest it
So
helps me.
as a point of clarification for Amy and I, as far as the ambulance goes, before the 30th, you need 2 quotes for ambulances, correct?
Yeah,
So before the 30th,
Just
you gotta get
something-
another quote.
that I have something in writing
Okay.
that showed that you have 2 quotes.
All right.
Randy's
Before we
situation
send it
where
in,
he has 2.
He's gonna have 2.
Yeah,
He's
you
got a
guys
couple.
have that ready.
So right now,
for
we only
him.
have the 1, so we need to get another ambulance quote before the 30th. Even if we're gonna buy the chassis, we
Yeah.
have to know what the whole project's gonna be.
Because like what I think I can do, and I haven't ran this by him, but I think as fiscal officer, I've done it before. If you're gonna buy a chassis, say off of one vendor and have somebody else finish it off another
Okay.
vendor, or you
Okay.
need additional things, I'm gonna open what's called a super blanket certificate.
That'll have the whole project.
Then that way we can pull off of that American Rescue money up to what we need to do that project.
So
Are
we'll
you
come,
looking at the same size trucks?
Yep.
Amy and I will
It's
come with
pretty
another
well
quote
standard.
so that we can,
Is it?
by the 30th, we need to know.
By the 30th,
we gotta make a decision next
Let me
week.
put it this way, I've never
I'm
went on
looking
and
at
done this
dealers
report, I
for-
did it in
Okay.
the CARES Act, but this one's a little more involved.
Yeah.
And I wanna make sure I have enough money
They're
there,
very highly.
whatever you all decide
Okay.
to do the premium
The
pay,
cab
at
and
least
chassis is
through
2 different dealers.
2024.
Okay.
But they all run the same horsepower on the motors. It's. I don't-
330 is as high as they can go.
Right.
then we want the 330 at least.
That's standard, that's pretty
We're not,
standard.
yeah, well, a lot of these trucks we've got over the years are always underpowered. I don't understand the 330 horsepower either.
So
First
that-
responders can go higher and we aren't allowed to, and we're the ones that gotta be out and keep the roads clear for first responders.
So next meeting, you'll bring at least 2 truck bids in.
And we'll do 2 ambulances. We have one already. We'll do another one so we can get that moving. All right. Anything?
I talked to the Stark Joint Soil or Waste, the recycling bins up at the fire department.
Oh, yeah.
I talked to the head guy and I have to meet, or me and Stu have to meet with and get a quote on chip and seal where their trucks drive. And being that we have some cracking where they're going through issues, he said that would bump it up, probably make some funds available. So till we figure out some costs to repair them.
I have Dean Mosgrove supposed to be, I thought he'd had him to me already. He was trying to do 2 different quotes. One was just trying to do the bad spots where they blew up around there, like over by the hydrant, up around where that area is there by the dumpsters. And another quote going from right where the dumpsters are, the whole way straight across, just to the left of the fuel tanks, and do that whole area, just to see what it is. That's blacktopping.
But you're waiting for that, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
They don't
He's-
have, go ahead.
He was working me up the quote as far as doing the bad spots. That's going in there, digging out the bad spots, and then going in there and laying like 2 coats of 2 inches each of just the base, what they call the heavier 57 base, which really strengthen it up. And then we could like cover it back up with our Durapatch or whatever and coat it and seal it. And he's gonna do the other one where
Okay.
you re-blacktop the whole thing. And I have another quote coming for going in there and doing that section right where it's at, the dumpsters like we looked at before, Randy, out just on staying back from those catch basins, of having it dug out and putting about 8 inches, 6-8 inches of concrete with wire in there, in that area. So you never have to worry about it ever breaking up again with it.
Okay.
It's blowing up where they come up in
They're
there and
not-
stop.
Our site is, he said, is probably one of the nicest sites there is. The majority of them are on stone.
Yeah.
So they're not.
Yeah.
You're not talking funds like concrete funds, I can tell you that.
Right. If they're gonna help us, it's not too much money.
Well, if it's 25,000 or something to re-chip and seal a lot, because the truck drives in from the road, it's not just right in front of the boxes.
Right.
No,
It's the
they
link coming in.
sit back there. I think
Right,
they
it's
take
wherever
their-
they affect, so.
They've been taking their breaks back there.
The
yeah, they
truck
sit.
just sits.
They sit right in front of the hydrant where they sit. I mean, you can tell, you can see.
Right where you,
Well, then
right where you
maybe
need
they're the
one.
ones tearing it up right there too, son.
All right, so you've got,
No, they are.
It's
Yeah.
them doing it,
Well,
not
you
you
know
guys
what
going up there.
what I'm getting at is,
No.
They have
Don't you
that.
guys fill the trucks inside?
Well, chip and seal's held up a long time, it just needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
so
we've
they're
got,
not gonna come out and
No,
do
they're
a
not gonna-
concrete pad, that's not gonna
all
happen.
right, so we've got some quotes coming in on that. Okay. Anything else for the road?
The footers were poured today for the salt shed. The footers are poured and they're gonna be back tomorrow to start putting more rebar up for the walls.
Okay. Did they give you an idea when they wanted to pour the walls?
Well, he mentioned Friday, but he made the mention of somebody might have to come in and double check to make sure, testing it somehow to see if the footer is
Set.
cured enough that
Okay.
they can pour that kind of weight on those walls, on those footers.
So they do that, what is that test called?
Because in our paperwork,
Some test would be.
Physical Officer Lowry, we looked in there, it says in our paperwork that they're supposed to let them sit for 14 days, that footer. Or up to 14 days, I don't know. I thought it said 14 days.
But he's gonna have
I don't know how fast that stuff's gonna dry.
It takes a while,
Yeah, and
especially when it keeps raining on top of it.
Right, there's pool.
and you're gonna put
water
a
right
foot thick, 12 feet high, straight in the middle of that footer. When you pour that, that's a lot of weight coming down on there, right in the center.
Yeah. I guess.
But he said and I don't know how much to believe, what he says, but he said that somebody would possibly have to come out there and okay it,
Approve
and test
that
it,
before you can
test it to
pour
see
on
if
it.
it's strong enough and cured enough
Alright.
to pour.
Okay.
Whether that happens or not, I do not
Trustee
know.
Puro, Griffith, or Varian, do you know of any such person other than this?
I'm guessing that's probably a sump test. I'll call Dwayne and find out what he's talking about.
All of you, though, find out.
I'll call
Yeah,
him.
you all find out.
I'll
because-
find it, then it's probably somebody. I
Because
don't know if it's
remember,
somebody
I
through
want to remind you, you guys
county that
gave,
would
you
inspect
gave
that?
Dwayne a second chance in December, and his own document said each one of them stuffs take 14 days for curing. And it didn't matter what the temperature was, it's laying in water right now. I would have to think it's drying slowly
Oh, yeah.
Well,
underwater.
you don't want it to dry fast, but
Yeah.
still.
No.
But you don't want to sit a
Slower
wall
the
up on
stronger.
it if it hasn't cured out,
Yeah.
Right.
just because he might be trying to rush it
Well,
through
let's-
and get going.
But let me
Let's
know,
all-
kind of,
let's
because
all-
I'm trying to watch up there everything they're
Let's all
doing.
ask questions in the next 48 hours on that.
I'm walking up there and looking and talking, and
Alright.
tomorrow morning, I'm gonna go up there bright and early and
Yeah.
take my tablet again and do a video of the footer.
Okay.
I
Get
don't
a
want to
video of
hammer,
it.
I don't want to hammer Dwayne Miller on in a meeting, but the man is not a man of his word. You all need to be watching what this man is doing up there. He
No.
put it in writing that it takes 14 days when he came to you in December. The agreement was he's supposed to have all these things to us before now, and he hasn't done it.
Right.
Yes, he's here now working, but now it sounds like, oh, we're gonna have that done in 4 days. We're gonna have this done. We're gonna pour this. To me, it seems like he's rushing through this.
He said that those guys, that outfit that's there doing all this, setting all them rebar and everything, are wanting to push this to do it on Friday because they got to get to the next job. Well, I don't care. I don't care about the next job. I'm caring about this job.
I'm not saying anything as far as this is but when they did our house, it's poured wall. They poured the footers, and 3 days later, they poured the walls. I've seen that done. Now, whatever you got in the paperwork, I will follow it. I have no
Is
issue
your,
with that.
is your footers that wide on your house? No,
No.
are them 8
No,
10 feet
I'm
wide?
not.
No.
But our walls are 8 or 9 feet tall.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it's not. But if if it states in there 14 days, 14
I
days,
hate to see this rush through.
I'm not
Okay,
arguing that.
without-
Yeah.
People that know inspectors and people that know. Stu's up there, you all keep looking at it. A man of his word, he is not. So make sure
I would
you
think the
watch it.
building department would want to inspect it.
That's what I.
Well,
think.
that's what I'm saying. I thought he said somebody has to come out Friday
And they may
and
have to
inspect
have
that
they
to
may have
make
have
sure it's
further-
strong
Somebody
enough
has to be. an
before they'll
inspector.
allow
I'll
him
just
to pour
call
those
out there and
walls.
talk to the lady I talked to back and before when we was getting the bids, because she'll know we're not the first one to do it.
No.
She'll know what they've done in previous sites.
I'm gonna call Chris too.
They definitely
Yeah,
has to
check
be
with-
inspected.
check
I'm
with
gonna
him.
call, I'm gonna
Let's-
call
Let's
Chris.
keep checking on that. All right, anything else for the road?
I don't know.
You don't want to spend any money? I can't believe that. Let's move on.
Yeah, move.
Move on.
No, he's
All right,
done, he's
he's
done
done.
for a while.
Zoning report.
Since the last meeting, haven't had any permits issued.
Okay.
I know there's a couple in the works, one for a house.
A couple new houses going up in town.
There hasn't been any change that I saw on the nuisance side. I was going to go out to Swollen and see if they started on that, but I didn't get a chance to. So I'll probably do that in the next couple days. The zoning commission hasn't heard back from our consultant yet. So they were going to cancel their meeting, which would be next Monday.
We didn't expect, he's doing a big part of it right now, so.
Okay.
So we decided, instead of meeting and bringing everyone in for not very much of anything, so.
Gotcha.
Mary, go back to the one on Indian Run.
Mhm.
They've had some type of change. It looks like someone's living in that trailer. And they
Yeah.
took out the patio door and put in a regular door. It looks like an interior house door.
Yeah.
Is this the
I-
camper or trailer?
Yeah. What's the
I
same
noticed
thing?
that because I drove past that way today. I was thinking about calling the health department, see if they could help out with anything.
Yeah,
Because there's been trash floating around there too.
well, and I've had some people complain about
The dump truck
The dump
sitting out,
truck
it's sitting almost
sticking
out in the
with
road.
it,
Yeah.
yeah. And he's definitely in the road right away with it. He
Yes.
needs to pull it somewhere else because
Me and
it's a
Brian
danger.
noticed that going down checking roads the other day.
If you were over the white line an inch, you would have hit it.
Sometimes he pulls in,
Yeah,
face in, and I'm telling you, the tailgate,
Man, you
the
think
back
that
tail
dump
end of
truck
the
going
truck
down through
sitting
there?
out almost in the road.
Yeah,
I
it's
know
black.
when I drove today, the hood of that truck was up too. So that's,
Well, the hood, I think they always put it up. He pulls it in and then he
There's
backs
never
it.
been anything out there that close to the road, but that thing's sticking.
No, but I do think
Dangerously
you should
close.
not be able to be in that road right away with a vehicle parked like that.
yeah.
Just because it's on a curve, when people come around there, it's black.
If somebody caught that with the back end sticking out there, he would open it up like a can.
Yeah, it's bad. It'd be a call for you.
I was gonna say, yep, that's.
Be a call.
Get the call.
I mean, I guess I don't know the answer to this. What is in our zoning book for someone living long-term in a camper?
It's against our regulations
Yeah.
to do that.
How do we justify, I mean, how do we,
The only ones that are allowed to live in their camper at all is those who apply to us for hardship, like if there's a
okay,
disability of like a parent or something, or there's some exceptions.
so we can make an exception for camper living. Okay.
We can for a health reason.
And then as far as a trailer in the township, those that are out are grandfathered, correct? Those that are in different locations on the township.
Like
are
a house.
You mean
grandfathered. Yeah.
like a mobile
Like a
home?
modular, yeah. Do they fall in the same category as a camper?
I think so.
They're not allowed in the township unless they're
Unless they were
grandfathered
grandfathered.
in.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah,
So
okay.
that's not the same as a
And then
camper.
part of the trailer park that's on Pekin is in township, half of
It is, and that's a
That's all
grandfathered in.
grandfathered. Okay,
yes.
all right. So you can live in a camper as long as you have permission. All right. I was just curious. I didn't know.
You can only live in it temporarily. So those
Temporary housing.
hardship cases, they're for a specific time period usually.
You got a window. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Anything else for zoning?
That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. How about some old township business? Attorney Beck updates.
We already discussed that.
Okay.
With the, what you all were helping me with, get those two bid pricing. And
Okay, yep. Too
we'll
bad.
need a resolution,
Come next meeting.
come next meeting
All right.
for each
We'll do
step.
Okay, new township business. Silco quotes for exit and emergency lights.
Yep, Stu was helping me out on this, and I happened to be up here the other day. He had asked Philip Weldon from the Fire and Security to come in, that does our fire extinguishers here. And he evaluated all our emergency lighting, whether, ballast, lighting and things.
Great.
And he prepared a quote to come out. There was some things that needed done. And that quote came to an estimate. He had a breakdown of $595 for inspection, like a yearly inspection for each one. Battery disposals of an old, and depending on size, it'd be a replaced or just check. But if you had to replace it, our batteries that are in our existing exit lights are $27, and there's a couple that have LED. I think they're $43. He put on the quote. Trip charge $59. He estimated his, let me make sure I'm getting his quote right. He's estimating between $500 to $600 to get them all caught up that are in here now. And this is the company that we use here for our fire extinguisher.
What fund do you usually take that out of for the building general?
The
general,
fund,
okay.
yeah, the general fund.
Is there something wrong with what we have up right now, or he's just,
No, like these emergency lighting, even though you see the lights on, I think the back one might need the battery. There's another one, when you trip them,
Yeah.
they're not coming on, but that's what they do and replace those for us. I know the fire station has another company, Safety Services. They've done theirs. They do their fire extinguisher, I think both in your trucks too, along with inside the facility. But they do a lot of their in-house and stuff like that. But up here, to help get us caught up, it's adjusted price to get that done.
So now this is a backup to the backup, because before a generator, the power goes off, that's important. Now you have a backup generator. So your power would have to go off and your generator would have to not function for those to even come on. because they only come on without power. So, do we need to get that approved today?
If you'd like to do that, would help me out, and I can give him a call.
All right, Trustee Varian moves to pay Silco up to $600 to repair and replace batteries for the exit and emergency lighting in the township garage building.
Trustee Griffith seconds.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. How about Sedgwick Group rating renewal?
Sedgwick took the place of our group rating, which used to be CareWorks. And this is their yearly time. The rate is a lot lower than what it normally is, but it's $1,220. And I prepared the documents. You can take a look at them. If you approve it, I'd just like to get that out. This is who goes to bat for us if we would have a claim, an injury. Keeps us in line with our drug testing and all that kind of stuff.
Gotcha.
Does that pay for that drug testing?
No, it does not pay
Service.
for the drug testing. Drug testing is separate through Alt Works.
Yeah, they keep
Facility.
emailing me. I don't know why they keep emailing me. I just responded to them.
Yeah.
I said, take
Well, you
road
You
superintendent.
forward to me and then we get it going. So.
They
Test.
emailed me and asked if there were any changes, and I said, no, keep it as it is.
Trustee Puro moves to pay $1,220 to Sedgwick Group for rating renewal.
Trustee Varian second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, updates for electric.
Yeah, trustees, I believe, and I apologize because in my notes, I believe I sent out emails to you all about our electric aggregation just recently. About 2 months ago, Mark Hollinger from Aspen Energy had contacted me saying our contract would be up in end of April, going into May. What he was concerned about with all the things going on in the world market right now, along with some things that happened in Texas, a hard freeze, the market is all over the place right now. But he thought it might be secure that he could secure this so that you could he would normally come in here, you would look it over, either agree to a 1 year, 2 year, 3 year contract. What has happened about 2 weeks ago, he contacted me, said, Brian, he says, there's no way we can lock in. It would be, our energy supplier would be at 6.25 and 6.5, but he thinks it could go higher. He wanted to, and he said they were doing it with all their clients. And just, I know any one of you can call other vendors to find this out. But right now, the market is so vulnerable that they don't want to lock in. He does not want to see the township lock in right now. I said, what are other places doing? Well, Canton Township happens to be on the same time frame. So I called Mark Schaefer, got to talk to him and Trustee Nichols at the meeting the other night. And they are going to follow Mark's request just to hold off for a month or two. And I said, well, how are you going to handle that with your residents that are on electric aggregation? Because you can't lock nothing in right now. He said, well, we're going to do postcards. Mark's getting them a mailing list. They're going to an outside resource to have these printed, putting it on their website and doing all these things. Well, I think we should do something very similar, but I think you trustees need to know the memos are already going out to people because I got one. I think Office Secretary Sue Puro got one that we're going to be off of the program, our township, effective like right now, going into, depending on where your billing cycles are, what you have now, it's changing right now. It'll be off. What's going to happen, the rate right now is 6.25. So when you look at your electric bill now and our residents look at it, it'll say AEP and there's a charge. Right now it says Dynity Energy and it's at 5.25 if I remember right now. That's a charge. That Dynity is going to disappear. AEP takes that spot right now unless somebody choose to pick somebody else.
Mhm.
But Mark is suggesting that we need to let the residents know, don't get panicky on that because there's a lot of people that know you're vulnerable right now and they want to switch you over and they'll give you 3 cents real cheap for 90 days and then it goes up to 17 to 20 cents and then you're locked into there and you end up paying like $200, $300, $400 more for your energy. He's suggesting try to as the phone calls come in, and I know we already got a phone call today, I believe, because it's hitting, it's starting to happen. People are panicking a little bit. Our residents who are on it, put their trust in us, but we can't sign up for nothing right now. There's nothing there to lock in to make it a good deal. If he even suggested once he gets these rates, and I asked Mark a half a dozen times a day, he don't feel he'll have the rates before June 1st, that he feels comfortable with saying, here, trustees, here's what I can do for a year, 2 year, 3 year timing, because he said the market is all over the place. With the world market of fuel is just, I don't know what you trustees, I know you all do your research on each one of you, and we're always out there looking, but I have to go by a little bit of what Mark's saying and what I'm watching another Canton Township doing. They're just trying to educate the best way they can their residents that we got to put this on hold for.
How many people do we have on the electric?
Right now, he's getting that number. He thinks it's around 600 and some in our township, 695. Canton Township has like 1,700, to give you an example, that are on it. So it's going to affect 600 people are going to look at their bill, and keep in mind, somebody might not even look at it.
You might even notice, yeah.
They never even notice it, but the people that really watch are going to notice it.
So do we do something now, or do we wait to get that list from
No,
him?
we want to get the list. I know I haven't been able to get prices because I want the list. He did send me a copy of, it's public knowledge, of Canton Township's letter. I forwarded that to you on your laptops there. You can take a look at theirs. I can just kind of copy something they have and put our township name in it, and help with some of the usage of what they have, talking about the markets have changed and things like that.
So we could go ahead and post that on our website
Yes,
before we do any mailing.
yes.
I mean, the mailing is going to be a little bit expensive, especially if we're going to get them printed.
That was another thing I wanted to find out from Mark, because they go with that Slyman printing and they make a postcard, and then they just have somebody put the addresses on them and they just go from there. But you might be able to do that in-house with, labels and stickers on that and get them out.
So can we put something on our website
Yeah.
before the next meeting, and then we'll table this until we get a
Yeah.
list of folks, then we'll,
Yeah.
okay.
Talk about
But I want you all to be aware of it, because you're going to get hit with whether phone calls, you'll have residents call you.
Yep.
I know I got to call back some people that called in here today and let them know what's going on. Because a lot of people put their trust in it.
Yeah.
And we
Sure.
sold them on, oh, don't worry about it, we'll take care of it for you. We'll go out and price shop, and the trustees will really hash it out. And now here we are. We're kind of at the mercy of what's going on right now. We can't lock nothing in.
There is that other company that does that electrical aggregation.
Yes.
That's that was at the OTA. I could try to check with them to see what they have available.
I think that's good. I just can't believe it's gonna go down. I don't know. This thing could go up.
He said today, 6.25 is where he thinks it's gonna be.
That he can't lock that in right now.
No,
Yeah, honestly, because that doesn't seem like too
because
bad.
I asked him that question.
He
says
doesn't want to lock it in right now.
That's what he said,
Nothing.
do not lock right now.
Well, I'm tired.
Yeah. He thinks that what'll happen is you lock in now, you could be possibly a tenth or 2/10 lower for a 2 year. But he said, keep in mind, he said, the trustees might want to go a 4 year out. But then he said, I wouldn't suggest locking it in now. You don't know what's going to happen, other than he'll get all his information, and it might be better to lock it in, but it might not be better to lock it in.
All right, we'll talk about this at the next meeting, and we'll figure something out. Brenda, motorcycle month.
First, can I say, did we vote to renew our Stark County Township Association dues?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, just pass that one down then.
There you go.
That's for Dennis. All right, so we did this last year, is Motorcycle Awareness Month. It's in honor of it. Abate Ohio is the group that's asking for townships and villages to do, here it says proclamation, but for us it'd be a resolution. So the township of, it'd be Osnaburg Township, whereas motorcycle riding is a popular form of efficient transportation and recreation in Ohio, and it goes on with these, whereas it's for safety and awareness on drivers of sharing road with motorcycles. And they'd like us to say our township also agrees with this statement. So let you look at those. And if we do, we need to make a resolution that we accept the safety of motorcycle, awareness of motorcycle safety month, and put it on our website then.
Good.
And this is the form that we would sign and then turn back in. I think you have to sign it maybe, if we do it.
Sounds good. You want to make a motion?
Sure, I'll make a motion that we make a resolution to promote the Motorcycle Awareness Month here in Ohio, which is the month of May.
Trustee Bureau seconds.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
right. Well, I have a copy.
We're gonna sign that and give it to you tonight.
Yes.
Okay. All right, we've got grass, roots, clippings,
Just
correspondence.
correspondence.
Okay. Anything else for the good of the meeting for this evening?
I think so.
Now take a motion to adjourn.
So,
Second.
All those in favor? Aye, 9:00. All right. Thank you.
Videos. Until I get over there.
There's places where it's
Saturday,
tire tracks up into the yard.
I
push
won,
back.